There we go. I had to actually tell Twitch to use my mic again, because yeah, that vlog that I did a couple days ago basically screwed me over like 3 times in a row. So I had to really finagle it. I ended up using a different program, but in order to record my face and voice. But in order to do so, I needed to disable those devices in XSplit. Anyway, back to my explanation. This is an editing stream. So I've thought for a while that a few people might like to see what goes into making my videos. And yeah, all the no sound. So where was I? Yeah, some people might be interested in seeing what goes into making my videos. I've already recorded the gameplay for the Boeing Dreamlifter, a 747 variant designed to haul basically parts of other planes. It's friggin' huge. Anyway, so that was of course in Kerbal Space Program. So I then have the there it is, the raw file sitting right here, and cool. So yeah, raw file is right here. These two are for the last thing that I did. In fact, those can now live there. I don't delete anything, by the way. So all of these are gameplay, clips, and other such video files of previous works, and I keep all of them because I never know when I might want them again. Also, stream archives, always a good thing to have. So this is my raw footage, and I use Adobe Premiere Pro CS6. So let's just, and of course timecode, milliseconds, HTV, all that good stuff. So this is just going to be working title Dreamlifter. Yes, it's spelt somewhat correctly. And 720p 30 FPS, because my version of XSplit can't do 1080p or 60 FPS. I need to get the paid version for that, but that's like $200, which I don't have. So this is going to be the title of the actual video. So Boeing Dreamlifter speed build KSP 105. Cool. I can't put periods or commas or anything in there because it'll freak out the file. Anyway, we're listening in about to hit the start button of Steps 3, see if everything's not running. Cool, I hope it is, because you've had a lot of trouble with that. So, anyone who's familiar with Premiere will recognize this. For those who don't, basically there are 3, let's see if we can get the fingers right, 3 parts of this screen that you need to worry about. Down here is essentially your library. This is where all the stuff that goes into your video is kept. This is the timeline, pretty self-explanatory what that is, with layers, so you can have video on top of each other, and then preview up here. Now, that'll all become a lot more concise and apparent in a minute. And also, full disclosure right away, I am not a Premiere expert by any means. In fact, just the other day I learned how to crop and flip footage. So very bare bones is my experience. So we'll just take the raw files and put it into the library there. Now of course there are some things that we need to do as well, such as intros and outros. We'll grab a new one. Like I said, don't delete anything. That's my old intro there. And this will actually be the first time the new intro airs. what do you guys think? Do you want to see the intro, like, right now? Because I can do that. Let me know if you want to see what the intro looks like right now. But anyway, so that's the start and end of the video. But there's still yet more to do with that. So you might notice here a couple of non-KSP videos. If you've watched any of my speed builds, you'll know that after the intro plays, I have a sort of subtitle card that has a few photos of the plane as well as its name, country of origin, and manufacturer. And there's usually a sound that plays over there. And that sound I genuinely try to keep as the sound of the actual aircraft. A couple of times I've had to make funny decisions. Like, for example, that Spitfire video is actually the sound for the Focke-Wulf TA-152, because I couldn't find any videos of that thing. So, to find the sound file that I need for that particular part of the video, I just go to YouTube, Boeing, Dream, Lifter, we're gonna take off. And I generally try to get or look for footage either beside the runway or at the foot of the runway so the plane can fly overhead, because that's always good. Go ahead and forget the file. Always fun. Indeed. Let's see. Also try to keep the time quite short, because I only need a few seconds of it anyway. So, apologies if this is... Yep, this is going to be loud. So, let's just take that down there. Nope, that's not good. Okay, so it's like someone in the tower or the terminal or something watching a taxi out. So I may not get good sound off this. We'll see. Maybe I will. So yeah, as you can see, thing's freaking huge. It's like from about there back is completely open. Ooh. I might use that. So yeah, let's get a good look at this thing. So obviously, massive big fuselage. This is like completely open on the inside there. This thing's probably hauling like a 737 fuselage, or maybe the wings thereof. And these two big bits here are the hinges. This entire tail section unlocks and swings to the port. Once it's on the ground, of course. So let's see. Time code. We'll give 20 seconds. So 236 to 256. Cool. Now to actually get this footage, I use a nifty little program called MP3 Rocket. There are many different ripping programs and sites out there, but this is the one I use, and it allows me to download just the audio, which is all I want. We'll put it in the KSB stuff folder, keep everything organized, and in the advanced tab I can trim length. So we'll go from 2 minutes 35 to 2 minutes. Wait, what? Yeah. 2 minutes 56. No, 58. Yeah, gives us a couple of seconds each side. And go, okay, download. Probably take 2 seconds. There we go, it's already finished. Sweet. That is the audio side of things. Now, I need a couple more things. For most of this right now is going into that subtitle page. Also, by the way, this is my to-do list. It grows almost daily. I've tried a couple times to count how many things I have on this list. I give up around 40. Yeah. Also, I keep a Google Docs folder of all of this, so you can peruse that at your leisure. It's linked in the descriptions of the videos. I might even post it in chat in a sec. So, this is where I get most, if not all, of my data on these aircraft that I build. Wikipedia. Crucify me all you want. Don't care. So, for this one, I'll use that in a sec for the something, I'm sure. But basically, we need to find some images of this thing. Now, I don't need the, let's see, toggle resources, there we are. I don't need the flag of the manufacturer because it's an American aircraft made by Boeing, so I already have those images. What I need is some good photos of it. So we'll just go, yeah, that size. I don't need a full HD image because, you know, it's going to be probably about this size on a 720p screen. So save as, and yeah, we'll just stick it here. Don't have much organization for these images because they don't tend to last very long. So let's just go quick Google Images search here. Also, we'll see what I have here. Well, I guess I don't delete things. Where is it? Where is it? Spowering Dreamlifter, where are you? No, I'm still Tile Club Resources. Okay. Well, in that case, y'all can go in there. Okay. So I have that and that. If I can get one in flight, that'll be awesome. Yeah, like I said, entire tail section opens up. Is there one of it in flight? There's that one. One from above would do very nicely. Someone's having fun in Photoshop. That's a Dreamliner nose. You can tell by the smooth lines of it. I think that's why the Dreamliner looks so strange as a Boeing aircraft, because it actually has clean lines. It's like, if you look at the nose of the Dreamlifter here, which is a modified 747, as I said, there's steps and corners all across it. I mean, it's still smooth, but it's not, you know, it's not a uniform curve. So it doesn't look like I'm going to get an above shot of it. I mean, there's another side shot of one that's yet to be painted, but I already have a side shot of it taxiing, so yeah, I think we'll go with this one. So let's go view image, save as, Tile Resources, done. Don't need to rename it because it's not going to last long, as I said. Now that we have all that, let's open up Inkscape and actually make this thing. Because you can see here some of the other pages that I've made for Focke-Wulf, and I was using 76 and others, so well, actually, let's not show that one. Let's take this one that doesn't have a swastika on it. So yeah, very simple, just background, flag, logo, name, and then I'll put in the photos later. So it's a rectangle, make sure it's the right color. I just use a basic swatch, and then 1280 by 720. There we are. And just resize the work area. There we go. Just make sure everything's all nice and uniform. We'll put the logo and flag. And when I downloaded these, I was a bit of a derp and made them absolutely fracking huge, even though I don't need to, because they scale down a lot. But hey, at least because Inkscape is a vector-based program, they don't lose resolution. Now I'll just keep it with that background, but I'll scooch it off the edge a bit. There we go. And then just Boeing Dream Lifter. Make sure that's bold. Whoop. Let's not move that bit. That bit. There we go. Resize. It's a bit off center because the Boeing logo is so wide, but I think that's alright. And then we just simply export to pictures, tile card resources, Dreamlifter. Export. Done. Yes, thank you. I know it's not saved as an SVG. I'm not planning on editing that anytime soon. So now, let's just import all of that into Premiere. So let's say so we have game footage, intro, outro, and what we need for the title card, except the audio. That's here in KSP stuff. This thing. Ta-da! But there is still yet more that we need. And I forget where it is. Yeah. Funny that, it's in music. So these are the names of the songs that I used for the background music. Where's Zoom? No, that doesn't work. But yeah, so Sneaky Adventure, Groovy Groove, Cold Adventure, and Brittle Rill. Search any of those names on incompetech.com and you will find them in short order. Because great thing about KSP is its entire soundtrack. Oop, that's the wrong thing. That was Twitch, no, Premiere. There we go. They're both purple. Shut up. So yeah, great thing about KSP, its entire soundtrack, apart from maybe the title theme, all Kevin MacLeod stuff. Which means it's all royalty free, and you can use exactly the same songs that the game uses to make things very, very nice and cohesive for your videos. She says, thanks, Origin update, now I have to reload the game. Fun! Yeah, it's annoying when updates get in the way of things. So, one more thing that I keep forgetting. In pictures, is it Evolution, Fuck Wolf, where is it? I know I had it here somewhere. There it is. The blueprints for the actual plane. So now we have everything we need. We can actually start making the video. So let's just let's deselect those two things and just get the one. So intro onto the timeline. Yes, thank you. Change sequence settings. I'm not entirely sure what that changes. It just makes things work, so I do it. So at least the core content is still installed. Whew! Dodged the bullet. So let's just quickly run through this intro. First of all, though, okay, it's already turned down. So let's just click in, hit play. Nice! By the way, that entire sequence was made using KSP, the mods thereof, and Premiere. Nothing else. So that's that. Now, we can drag this on. Why is that not sized correctly? I know why that's not sized correctly. Because... boy. Let's see. Clear that. Because... for some reason... when I installed Inkscape on this new computer... I don't know if it's some setting that I changed way back when on my old rig and have since forgotten to change here, or if it's some decision made in one of the updates to Inkscape, but you'll notice up here that the width and height of this image, 1280 by 720, that is all correct. If I go to export area page, which is what I do, basically it exports this bit. Make sure that it makes sure that I get everything that I want and nothing that I don't. You look at the DPI, 90 dots per inch. That's pretty standard. But the resolution is 1200 by 675. That's not right. I can easily change it by going to 720, goes to 780, and goes to 96 DPI. So it's an easy fix. My question is, why isn't that standard? Why isn't the size of the image in the work area the default export size for the page? It's just strange to me why that would be done that way. So export, replace, yes, thank you. No, don't save it as SVG. Re-import. And we're good. Little annoying there, but yeah. So as it stands, it's just a smash cut to this, but we'll change that in a moment. So when you're on the timeline, if you hold Alt and scrolly wheel, you can zoom in. You can also drag the ends of the scroll bar. I like to zoom in until the timeline up here is in individual seconds. That just helps me keep everything where it needs to be when it needs to be there. So, of course, we have 3 images that we need to overlay on top of this. Now, sure, we have 3 layers, but we actually have 4 instances that need to be on screen at the same time. So we need more layers. Simply go to Sequence, Add Tracks, and then you can add video and audio tracks. It'll add both if you change either. And we'll just go add 3 tracks. So now I have 6 layers. I don't need 6 layers, but it's nice to have. So now we'll just drag these images onto the timeline, and I love how things snap. You can snap to the end of other instances, or you can snap to the time counter, which is excellent. So we'll just keep that there, and yep. So now this is what it looks like. It's all weird. Simply double click on the images, and then it goes into free transform mode. There's probably a keyboard shortcut for that, but I don't know it. And for this massive one, just drag it down. I do love how width and height are automatically locked to each other. That is very, very good. So well, actually, let's have another quick images search, because if you look, these 3 images, especially these 2, are very samey. There's not a whole lot of difference between the 2. Well, 3. So I think I'm going to use this one of the tail opening up as the center image, and then can I get a front on? I mean, there's this one, but it has that on it. Yeah, maybe. Ooh, I could show it actually loading, not just open. Doing that. So show it actually loading a part onto it. Could do a perfect profile. Huh. I've never actually had this much trouble picking images before. That's a cool action one, but that's from a simulator, that's not an actual photo. Ooh. There's my above shot that I kept wanting. Okay, I now have my images. Save as that, and view image. Ow, that one's copyrighted. Never mind. I'm sure a lot of these images are copyrighted, but yeah, they only show up for like 5 seconds, and they don't tend to say it, so. Alright, let's just see how things look using this one. So we'll just delete that one, instead bring in this one. Yeah, it looks a bit better. And I think this one I'll flip. So I never noticed before until a couple of days ago that there are tabs here. And if you go into effects and just search flip, video effects, transform, horizontal flip. Click and drag that over to that one, and it flips it. Pretty damn simple. But of course the words are backwards. Oh well, we'll just deal with it. It says Dreamlifter on that one and that one, so. And next thing is, it actually looks like it's flying the other way to this one. Maybe they printed it backwards on the other side. You just don't know. So that's that. So they're all in roughly the positions that I want them to be. Next we'll get the audio squared away. So this is our audio. Now we can click this drop down to get the waveforms, drag it out to make the layer wider so we can see what we're actually doing. Now this yellow line here, it's also up here. Don't know if you can see it on stream, but see my cursor changes when I mouse over it. I used to think that that was just a divider between the two waveforms. Obviously they've got left and right. It's not. This is actually an adjustment bar, and it affects whatever's up here. So in this case, volume level. I can also do channel volume and planner, whatever the hell other thing that is. I only ever use it on level, which is volume, how loud it is. Awesome thing is, not only can you drag it up and down to make things louder or quieter, there we go, but if you hold Control, see how the icon on the cursor changes? Maybe not, but anyway, then click on that line, it gives you these little diamonds, these handles. This allows you to change the level of one portion of a file, not the other, but also set up blends between the two. So if we play this, it starts off loud and goes quieter. But of course, I use this equalizer over here to maintain audio quality or audio level throughout my videos. Now I try to keep it just below -12. So That's right. So we'll actually get rid of those for now. And we'll just scroll through until we get... Alright, I think right there is the start of a good sound. So I'll hit C, gives me the cut tool, and literally just allows me to cut it. And then ripple delete takes away that section of file, and also shunts everything back to keep the position. So that's right at the flyby. And I think we'll cut it to be about a perfect 10 seconds. It's going to be 9 point something or other. But cut it there, smash it. And now we can drag these others out to meet it so that they're all the same length. And also expand these layers. And you can see same handles. BB getting food back with a lunch with chips with salsa and cheese. Oh, I'm so jealous. Oh, I'm so jealous. I want salsa and cheese. So we'll actually put those little handles to use. They're not exactly Bezier handles because you can't change the curve, but you can change the position and the amplitude. Basically allows you to put fades and such. And in video, right now it's set to opacity, but you can also do motion and speed and things like that. So you can put in slow-mos if you really want to. Gonna do a little bit of that later. Actually, kind of a lot of that later. But basically, I'm keeping the time pointer in the same spot and trying to match up my cursor with its position, so that all of these things start their fade at the same time. World of Warships, what the frig are you doing? Go away. I'm sorry if stream was really slow for ages there, but yeah, World of Warships was downloading when I told it not to. Celtic is off to bed, not all. Night Celtic, thanks for sticking around. So yeah, now the audio and all the video fade at the same time. That's the easy part. Hard part is over here. Because if y'all have seen my videos, things just don't fade into this. It fades in with the background and one image, and the other two fade in a second or two later. The way I do that is very similar to what I just did. So we'll put a fade in on the audio and the first two images, which in this case is the background and this one. And now drag the time over. That's a second later. We'll go a second and a half at 24 seconds. And cut that out. So currently it plays like that. That looks weird. There's sort of fade in that I put on these images actually goes off the little thumbnail down here, but the time pointer at the very end of that, and that's where I put my handles. Pretty simple. So we'll just go over here to 27 seconds. 26 and a half. Gives you a second and a half to look at the new thing before another new thing comes on. And there we go. So the way it goes now is as such. Nice. And that is the intro sequence of my videos done. There are a couple of videos that I've had to change that up with. None come to mind immediately right now, but there are some that I've had to do some funny things with. Do a quick Control S to save, because I do not want to have to do all that again. And now we can actually move on to gameplay. So we'll just drag in the gameplay onto layer 1, and there it is. Now of course you can see there's all these weird waveforms in the audio. That's mostly not game, that's well, let's just play a bit.
Hurt myself needlessly.
Yeah, I was watching Last Level Press live stream while building this. Those who are here currently already know that, but for the YouTube people, yeah, that's what I was doing when I was building this. And then they were amazingly surprised to hear that I built this thing within their stream time. I'm kind of good. At least in the circle of my friends. So yeah, we'll just take that slider all the way to the bottom. There we go. So no rogue audio plays through this section, and that's good because this building section is not gonna stay this speed for very long. And what I'm just doing now is scrubbing through the timeline, watching the waveform to see when it gets flat and uniform. It's about there. So that's no, not in this particular case. Basically, I'm trying to find where I paused, or rather muted, the sound of stream to gather game audio when I took the thing out onto the runway. And I usually do this. It's like when I build, I usually have like a video or even just music going. So while things are being built, the waveform is really sporadic. So wow, I took a long time to build this. There we go. So you can see the waveform immediately dropped off, became very flat. So yeah, currently stream is paused. So I'm gonna guess, yeah, we'll cut right before that camera move, because I'm about to speed up this whole footage by 500 times. In fact, what the hell am I doing? I should probably do that first. All the way back to the start we go. Whoop. There we go. Alright, so let's just go right click on this, speed duration 500%. Maintain audio pitch, ripple edit, even though there's nothing on the end. So basically what this does is reverse speed will obviously make it 500% slower in this particular case. Maintain audio pitch makes it so it's not super squeaky or super low, as the case may be. Ripple edit basically means if there's, so if I was to change the speed of this and there was nothing here or here, basically if there was something on the end of this particular file and I change its speed, if I didn't hit ripple edit, there would either be a massive gap between the end of this and the start of the new thing, or if it was slowing down and it pushed the length further, it would override that other thing. Ripple edit stops that. Just it pushes or pulls other things with it. So let's just go yay. And now, just for funsies, once it renders, because I didn't stop to see, oh yeah, over here you can see the length of the raw footage. 42 minutes 24 seconds. It just condensed that down into about 9 minutes. And of course there's a lot of data to crunch to get that to work. And thankfully I actually remembered to lower the audio first this time round, because if you change the speed then lower the audio as separate things in that order, then it has to render the video and the audio to the new speed, and then it has to then render the video with no audio later. So this is currently where we're at. Simply just me building this thing at 500% speed. There's a thing that I routinely forget to do that we're going to do right now, and that's put in the blueprints. These are actually the same blueprints that I worked off on my second screen when building this thing. So we'll just scale them down. They look really weird and fuzzy right now, but trust me, it looks a whole lot better when it's actually playing in the video. So yeah, we'll put it down there. I used to have the blueprints over here, but that tended to obscure bits of the build itself. Over here it's just covering the parts list. And while we're here, we're also going to add in the 2-second fade in that I like to have. I like to work in round numbers. You'll notice over here it's a 1-second fade out to a 2-second fade in. I find, at least for me, that's what looks best and is easiest for me to remember. And also, if we scrub through and watch this fade in, once it gets to full opacity, that's when stuff actually starts to happen. So let's just see what this looks like. And there we go. Now things are happening. But now we need to drag this blueprint file out to the end. And wow, that's a lot. So you can see old scrolling out on the timeline just brought the horizontal axis closer together without changing the vertical axis. Vertical axis is changed over here, as you saw earlier. Anyway, let's just select the blueprint and drag it out. Change its time to match the footage. And I'll cut that where it needs to be cut later, but for now, that'll do. We also don't need this audio anymore, so we'll leave it out just small. And at this point, I'll scroll in a bit and shove that over there. We'll add in some music. So we'll start with this one. And put it there. I've used these same songs for all of my builds since about a year ago when I started doing these videos. I've used the same songs since. So yeah, we'll add the same 2-second fade in, and I literally just put the pointer on this marker and did the same thing. So now things are working right. And yeah, there's one song is not going to cut it, so we'll trim the end of it so there's not nearly so much of a dead time after the song ends. And we'll just match up the levels with the next song and see how it sounds. Nice. Just move straight on to the next song. Don't even need to fade it. And then we need a third song. This one's a little louder, so we'll go a little softer. Yeah, this one has a very deep bass line. That's why the waveform's so crazy. Will that suffice? That will. Because by the time the song ends, we're well into flying. Alright. So now we can dive in and start really editing this thing. So we'll scroll back in until yes, I was looking at the wrong thing. So there we go, 1 second increments. So we're back here again, and we'll add that same cut there right before the turn, because at this point I think, yep, it's ready to go, we're all good. And of course it has to re-render because I put a cut in. Fantastic. This process right now is actually a lot faster than it used to be. On my old rig, this process right here could take a number of minutes if there were big changes on long videos. Incidentally, I've changed the way I do things in a few different areas since I started doing this whole thing. Obviously, do things for long enough, you're bound to change things. And oh yeah, I realize, oh, those engines are quite close to the ground. So I come back in here, and we'll start it about there. So yeah. One thing that I've changed since I started doing this thing is the percentage to which I speed up the building. I initially went with 400% because one of my favorite YouTubers, as far as KSP is concerned, Scott Manley, in a lot of his videos, he speeds up dull moments with a 400% increase as well. What happened to the audio right there? And it just freaked out. So yeah, he uses a 400% increase for dull moments as well. Oh yeah, I'm gonna need to scrub through this whole thing and cut out spots where I'm alt-tabbing away. We'll do that in a second. But seeing as this one's right here, I'll do it now. So yeah, that's why I chose 400%. But I realized probably about 6 months ago that it's like my videos are kinda long, and there's not a whole lot, that can't be made out with a faster time. So I basically added another 100% to the speed, which solves things rather nicely. Alright, so that's fine little edit done. So we'll scrub up just as I hit the save button, and we'll cut there. And I also know that this is the last time we come to the build screen, so I'll cut the blueprint as well. So yeah, increase to 500%, and that shaves about a minute off my videos on average, which is nice. Keeps things easy and concise. And you can see just how long my load times are with some of these big aircraft. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a 4.5 second load time, 500% faster. It's kind of ridiculous. Another thing we'll do, I don't tend to put a fade on this particular cut because I don't think it's really needed. But there is another thing that I need to do. Let's not lock it, let's expand it. One last song that we need. Call to Adventure. It's a cool little song. And what I like to do with this one is put in a fade. So it fades from one song to another. And we'll put it about there. There we go. It's also rather loud, especially later near the crescendo, so we'll start it nice and quiet. And basically how I do this fade is obviously put the songs on different layers overlapping each other, and then I fade in and out at the end of each respective song. So if we listen here, once it renders, it's a nice seamless fade from one song to another. Now of course if we just left this footage up here of it flying at 500%, things would look really weird. So speed duration, let's go 110%, because I think the frame rate was a little slow for this one. And especially in my older videos, I would have the flying footage sped up some to try and iron out stutter and such. Also, we can bring back game audio, because I have since paused stream by this point. Loading, 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 and done. So, having a quick squeeze around the aircraft. Fire up the engines. Oh, looks like I have to... Oh, of course. I'll pause and show you what I mean right here. Once the engines fire, there we go. Before UI feeds. So, for those who don't know KSP, this is the station diagram. This is where things that can be activated by the spacebar sit, and you can change the order, whatever. Basically, it's currently showing me the 4 engines on this aircraft in no particular order. Actually, order that they were placed. And next to them is their fuel gauge, so how much fuel each engine has available to it. Now, most of this aircraft is actually fuel tank, and there are some tanks that I haven't locked, i.e. disabled the feed to, because all but one of them, actually 2 of them, are empty. This thing would weigh like a gazillion tons if I didn't do that. But these wings double as fuel tanks, and they come empty but unlocked by default. So that's why there's this massive empty space on the ends of this fuel gauge. So it's a bit misleading. It's like if you're just flying around and you glance at that, you think, holy shit, I've used 2/3 of my tank in 10 minutes. No, you started with only 1/3 of your available fuel on board as far as this is concerned. But that's just a little thing that I'm going to tweak once I get back into it, because I'm going to change this between the video and the screenshots for the info page, because I don't like the nose. I don't like how the nose looks. And I brought the UI back just now so that I could see the trim diagram. I love how things can match like that. It's like, listen to the music as the plane rotates. I love it when things line up like that, because you saw I just dragged the music onto the timeline. I didn't try to match up anything specifically or anything. It just keeps happening. I slap stuff down and it lines up. It's awesome. Getting some glamour shots. And incidentally, I've looked at my analytics, and it's when the building stops that most people stop watching, which is completely fine. It's just interesting to see that most people don't even watch the things fly. Yeah, that big blue nose, I'm going to change that off camera. And that's all the footage that I have. So it ends there, which means there. I put a 2-second fade out on the game footage as well. So we'll just cut the music there as well. Go to our 2-second mark, which is there, and we'll do the same fade outs. So music, game audio, game footage, and then we come up here, grab our outro, and just stick it on. So now, once things render, there we go. And that's about it. And it came out to just over 10 minutes long. So yeah, we can zoom out and see the entire project. Most of the editing was in this bit. And actually, I just remembered I have to keep scrubbing through this thing to cut out downtime when I'll tab. Well, let's just have a quick scrub. Are there any major pauses? Not that I'm seeing so far. And nope, doesn't look like there are any more major pauses. I think it was when I was mainly just when I was alt-tabbing to tell stream about what I was doing. Oh, there was a long pause there. So we'll zoom back into here. And there we go. So yeah, that's a very long pause there, so we'll definitely cut that out. You know what? Cancel that render. I can just scrub for it. And we're back. There we go. So yeah, it's a long thing. So yeah, here's a really good look at ripple delete. So if I just go clear, then there's this massive hole in the thing, and there are other cuts down the line, so I'd have to basically shunt every single thing back by the same few seconds. If I just go ripple delete, shoves it for me, which is excellent. So let's zoom back out, keep scrubbing. And that's looking about good. Oh yeah, there's that. Why isn't that cut out? Is that a separate thing? So yeah, I go to click save, and then yeah, for some reason I didn't cut out what I wanted to cut out. Oh yeah, I remember what happened. So right at the end here, the reason I was actually clicking save was because I thought this was about done, at least for a prototype, and I went to flight test it. And then when I got it out on the path, I saw that the engines were going to scrape off, so I had to come back. All I cut out was the loading time between the hangar and the runway. That didn't actually cut out the downtime of alt-tabbing to tell stream about it. So Nice. And then it's all done. Sweetness. I love it when things work. So yeah, that's my entire video right there. Let's just bring this back up. So yeah, that's pretty much all that goes into making a KSP speed build video. At least as far as post-production is concerned. So now we'll do a final save and we'll export it. So I export as WMV because I find this is the file type that gives me the least headaches, and also is a good compromise between quality and file size, because yeah, I've exported as AVI before. Over a gig for a 10-minute video is not okay, especially for YouTube. So I do not really know what most of this stuff does. I just make sure the resolution's correct, as is the frame rate, and all this other stuff. I have no idea. Use previews, I'm pretty sure, means that it uses any of the temp files that it's saved to RAM to help with the final compilation. And of course, max render quality, and exporting the work area, so it'll export the whole thing. Make sure it's going to the right place. It is. And awesome. Now I'm not going to click export right this second because I'm pretty sure that would kill stream right away. But yeah, that's the long and short of it. I'm not entirely. I wouldn't be surprised if there's no one even here still. The fuck. I wouldn't be surprised if there's no. Where is that coming from? Even here still. Shit. Where is that coming from? Just mute everything. Shit. Yeah, I have no idea where that audio is coming from. I'm sorry. Yeah, I have no idea where that audio is coming from. I'm sorry. So, looks like there is three people still watching. Yeah, cool. So, looks like there is three people still watching. Hope you all enjoyed this look behind the curtain, as it were, into my editing process. It's really not all that intensive or complex. It's just a little bit long-winded, especially if I have to do a lot of cutting like I did for this one. So, look forward to this video this coming Wednesday on YouTube, or if you're on my Patreon, you'll see this immediately once I upload it, like in about an hour, once it's done rendering. So, shameless plug aside, thank you all kindly for watching. I'm Scarlet, and I'll see you later. Shameless plug aside, thank you all kindly for watching. I'm Scarlet,